is riding him for just the second time. So, Anthony, I thought that last year's winner, Babington Bob, was a good starting point in this race, and from what I hear from connections, they're predicting another big run.
Interesting, Gordie. He's tentatively priced at the moment. Perhaps a bigger price. If you'd have missed out the entire year, if he was coming here just off the back of that win, then you'd make him a good thing in this. But it just hasn't quite gone to plan since, has it? And he's 16-5, third choice at the top of the market. Dom and Louis, well, is at the top of the market, apologies, 5-4, 11-4 Marone, and just taking a little bit of a walk, 16-5 Babington Bob. St. Arvan's 11-1 now. 16-1. You can just see him in the back of the shot at the moment. Tommy Dowson getting the leg, well, not even the leg back up, jumping up onto the back of St. Arvan's, with Slainlock now the outsider for Rose Dobbin and Craig Nicol. Dom and Louis then is only strengthening at the top of the market, Sam?
Yes, and probably by default in as many respects, really. People have probably seen the ground, perhaps think that it's a touch on the quick side for Marone. Obviously, Babington Bob hasn't shown a lot, so you've got to decide on something, and at least Dom and Louis has got a vaguely progressive profile. Don't think we've seen the best of him just yet, and it was a fair enough run last time out, and he has also won round here as well. So there are some positives to his chance.
Certainly are. Concetto going on to be second next time up in grade. A better race than this, definitely, at least. Marone, he's always, I think, as we said before, he's always going to be interesting. It's just hard to take that kind of price with a lot of confidence. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I mean, he's a sizable unit. He hits the ground quite hard. You can just see there, really.
It certainly is.
I know he's on the slight, at the top of a slight sort of rise there, but he's a big lad, and he does genuinely want a good bit of cut to get into. He's fourth in this last year, and his last two runs in cheap pieces, you know, they haven't really, I mean, yeah, he ran okay last time, and at least Daliatin has come out of that race and won to enhance the form a little bit, but he's having plenty of opportunities, isn't he? It is a very weak race, though, isn't it? I mean, you know, for the money, St. Arvan's and Slainlock would arguably both want shorter than this trip this afternoon. Babington Bob's been struggling for form, so I'm not sure I'd want to be a layer of Marone at sort of 3-1 on the machine, but, you know, I can understand why Dom and Louis dominating the market.
With question marks of each of the top of the three, you would naturally go, well, is there a chance that the likes of St. Arvan's or Slainlock get back to winning ways? Both of them not exactly having ideal preparations coming into this, however.
No, I mean, the one thing for St. Arvan's is that he goes very well in a small field. He's won at this track, and, you know, his stable's representative ran very well early on the card, so those are positives there. But effectively, 2.5 miles on decent ground or 2 miles on decent ground have been his optimum conditions before now.
Gordon Brown will have the final say ahead of the feature.
Yeah, with Method to the Madness out of the race, Lucinda Russell relying on Dom and Louis. Now ridden by Stephen Mulqueen, as we thought earlier on. No Derek Fox here today. I think he'll be facing a race against fitness to be ready for air at the weekend, from what I hear. I was up at the homecoming for the Grand National winner yesterday, and he wasn't in attendance, which tells its own story when he can't be there for the horse that has provided him with his second Grand National success. So we do wish Derek a speedy recovery from that shoulder injury. Flag raised then for race 4. Here's Darren.
So runners lining up. They're off for the Ashley Bank Investments Reg and Betty Tweedy handicap steeplechase. So it's Slainlock who leaves the starter in front of Babington Bob and Dom and Louis, with Marone just in behind, then St. Arvan's as they square up to the first of the 17 fences and over the first. So it is Slainlock the leader. Craig Nicol aboard, leads by a couple of lengths. Babington Bob, last year's winner, on the inside of Dom and Louis and Stephen Mulqueen. Marone, who was fourth in this race 12 months ago, is between them, and St. Arvan's just a few lengths away in the hands of Tommy Dowson. So they take the turn and go towards the fence away from the enclosures, and it is Slainlock who is in front. Slainlock coming to it now. Picks up with a few lengths advantage over Babington Bob, with Dom and Louis on the outside of Marone, and finally St. Arvan's. St. Arvan's has won 3 races over fences this term. So making the run to the first of the fences over on the far side And it's Slane Lock going on down the back straight, about 4 lengths clear of Babington Bob, 2 lengths to Dom and Louis, a length and a half to Marown, and a break of 2.5 to St. Arvan's. So it's Slane Lock at the first down the back, over. From Babington Bob and Ross Chapman, with Dom and Louis in third. Sean Quinlan has Marown in fourth. St. Arvan's and Tommy Dowson last of all, as they take the second of the fences in the back straight. And it's Slane Lock for the stable of Rose Dobbin. Here's Pricked, the 11-year-old, coming to the final fence on the back straight. Slane Lock at it now, and jumps it really nicely. Slane Lock from Babington Bob, and the horse carrying a top weight, Babington Bob, 12 stone on the inside rail. Dom and Louis is about a length and a half away, then Marown, followed by St. Arvan's, coming on down the side of the track to fences 6 and 7. Slane Lock, the leader. Slane Lock with another really good jump. Slane Lock from Babington Bob. Babington Bob, who has won 4 times over fences. Dom and Louis yet to win over the larger obstacles to the outside. And then comes Marown, followed by St. Arvan's. And they're over that fence. That was the fence before the straight. The next one they'll take is the open ditch. So it's Slane Lock, the leader. Slane Lock by a couple of lengths to Babington Bob, and then a length to Dom and Louis, followed by Marown, the Nicky Richards train runner in front of the Morris Barnes train St. Arvan's. So coming on towards the ditch now, Slane Lock, Babington Bob, Dom and Louis, and the last 2, Marown on the inside of St. Arvan's. So turning around that elbow and heading now to this final fence on circuit 1 of 2. It is Slane Lock continuing to lead in this staying race. Slane Lock by about 2 lengths going to the fence now. Slane Lock over as Dom and Louis snatches second place from Babington Bob. Marown's on the rail, and in the red sleeves the outside St. Arvan's, but they're well grouped. The field of 5 in front of the enclosures, about to set out on their last circuit. Slane Lock bidding to make all the running. Slane Lock with 3 parts of a length on Dom and Louis. Marown's on the rail in the green and yellow quarters. Babington Bob's between horses, and then St. Arvan's as they jump this plain fence. As they go away from the stands, it's Slane Lock from Dom and Louis, Marown. Babington Bob is the one who's lost a place or 2, and then St. Arvan's. So they're now going down into that dip, and now about to hit the rising ground and enter the back straight. So Slane Lock continuing to lead. Slane Lock, winner of 1 race this term, in front by about a length to Dom and Louis. St. Arvan's on the extreme outside. Babington Bob and Marown certainly nicely in touch as they jump the first of the fences on the back straight. Slane Lock still leading from Dom and Louis, Babington Bob, St. Arvan's, Marown going the shortest way. They're coming towards the second of the fences on the back straight. Marown now finds himself in last place, is being pushed along. Slane Lock, Dom and Louis, followed by Babington Bob, St. Arvan's and Marown. This is the last of the fences on the back. Slane Lock coming to it in front by a good length or so. Slane Lock from Dom and Louis, St. Arvan's, and the 2 horses under pressure there, leaving the back with Babington Bob and Marown. So now they're on the side of the course, just 4 fences left to jump, and it's still Slane Lock who has the advantage, a lead of a good length and a half. Slane Lock are being followed by Dom and Louis. Slane Lock, Dom and Louis. St. Arvan's on the extreme outside. Marown, Sean Quinlan riding away on Marown. Babington Bob's outpaced at the back last year's winner. That was the 3rd last fence, and it's Slane Lock from Dom and Louis. St. Arvan's on the wide outside. Gap then of a few lengths opening up to Marown and then Babington Bob. So they're preparing to turn into the straight. About 3 furlongs to go. 2 fences to jump, and this is the ditch. And now Craig Nichols asking for maximum effort aboard Slane Lock as Dom and Louis and St. Arvan's threaten. And that was the open ditch. Dom and Louis between horses. The strong travelling St. Arvan's to the outside. Slane Lock has dropped to 3rd. Marown 4 and Babington Bob last of all. A furlong and a half left to go. And it is Tommy Dowson aboard St. Arvan's who's travelled really well. Stephen Mulqueen's working on Dom and Louis on the inside. Precious little in it as they land at the final fence. And these 2 now duel. And the gloves are off. St. Arvan's and Dom and Louis quickly. St. Arvan's now just moving into the lead, edges over to the running rail, but is in front by a few lengths and powers away for another win. St. Arvan's is having a good season. St. Arvan's the winner. Dom and Louis second place, clear of them around third, then Bavington Bob and Slane Lock.
St. Arvan's, as I say, this time of year, keep an eye on the Morris Barnes horses. They tend to come to hand at this time of year. You can sometimes forget about them for most of the winter. But this is a horse that's back in the winner's enclosure. Didn't he travel well for Tommy Dowson, St. Arvan's? Dom and Louis and him had a right set to after landing over the last. And in the end, St. Arvan's won going away from Dom and Louis, who was racing from a pound out of the handicap. A 12-1 winner by the Cumbrian trainer, former Grand National winning jockey at Morris Barnes with St. Arvan's. Probably got to go down as a career best as well. His previous highest mark he won off was at Hexham last September, off 117. It's £5 higher here, and he'll go up a fair bit for this, I would have imagined as well. This is his sort of trip. He started off winning over 2 miles, but he's won over 2.5 as well, and he sees out the 3 miles pretty decent fashion as well. As soon as he landed over the last Tommy set him alight. The disappointments, well, Maroon we all know has had issues, and he hasn't got a lot of consistency. Such a beautiful looking horse, but Nicky Richards says he has had 1 or 2 problems throughout his career. And Bavington Bob, they clearly haven't got to the bottom of what's been causing him to run so poorly. Last year's winner, he actually ends up finishing last of the 5. But here we go with the head on, as you can see. It's on the right, that is Stephen Mulqueen deputising for Derek Fox on Dom and Louis. In the cerise sleeves there, that's Tommy Dowson, and in the end he's gone away to win by 2 or 3 lengths. Maroon does come through for third, but beaten a long way behind the front 2, and in I think it was close for 4th and 5th, probably Bavington Bob finishing in 4th ahead of the long-time leader at Slaneloft. But yeah, St. Arvan's, David Carr, the owner, he's co-owner of this horse, although he actually races in David's colours. He's a sort of Hexham-based owner, been a real sort of great supporter of the Morris Barnes yard, which is sort of about 10-12 miles east of Carlisle, is where Morris is based. It's a horse that's now winning for the 3rd time here at Kelso. It's the first time he's won here over fences. He's got a couple of wins over hurdles. His most 2 recent wins came last summer at Hexham. He actually won on no less than 3 occasions last season, and most of them came in the spring and summer. Hexham and Cartmel. So there's David Carr, the smiling owner there in the winner's enclosure with the tweed jacket, and Tommy Dowson, he's always got plenty to say for himself. Morris there in the flat cap, that's Morris's wife there in the red, just partially obscured, that's Anne, and Morris about to pose for pictures with this winner. I'm going to have to be off my mark quick.